What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of HorrorRealm Radio, the show that won't stay dead. I'm your host, Mike Exler, alongside Rich Delzato. Rich, how are you this evening?
I am well, thank you. Fat and full of turkey from last week and leftover sandwiches.
Right. I don't think I want to see a turkey ever again. I'm just done with it.
Well,
On
despite
to the Christmas.
our talk about stuffing. That'll be me.
So
how are you doing?
Yes, we are. I'm doing well. I'm very excited about the show this evening we have for everybody. We have a very special guest on tonight, Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Victor Crowley, A Nun's Curse, and many more. So, Rich, I know you're excited about this episode. So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts?
What? Yeah, you ready?
What
you
are my
excited?
thoughts?
You pumped?
I'm very excited. I'm pumped. I think this is very generous and great opportunity that Felissa is giving us for the fans to see and hear from her during these times when we can't go to a lot of conventions. And as we both know, and anybody who's met her, I mean, what a great person and just fun to be with. And I hope this fills a little void for people until we get to next March.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Definitely nice of her to take some time out and speak with us. I actually, on Amazon Prime, I noticed the other week that I think it was actually during Halloween, the films I was watching, that her newest film, A Nun's Curse, was on. So I decided to check that out. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I haven't yet. It's queued up for me, or whatever it's called on Prime. It's on my list, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it was good. It's directed by Tommy Faircloth, who, when I was with Days of the Dead, they were big in the indie scene, and he was always a name that was thrown around with much respect. And people seem to like his work, and other filmmakers seem to like him. So he was always, pretty reliable as far as films go. And this one is no exception. This one, very competently shot, very well done. I think, it's definitely the level of, Amazon Prime, Netflix, in that range. Another friend of ours, Christy Ray, is in it. We had her on my former show from Dustilcon Radio when she was in Pieces of Talent.
So guest at HorrorRealm.
She was a guest at HorrorRealm, along with the director, I believe.
Yep.
Also was there. So, it's about a group of travelers are forced to seek shelter inside an abandoned jail where a notorious nun named Sister Monday has once been assigned and was suspected of murdering prisoners. So, Felissa does play Sister Monday in the film.
That's cool.
And you have Christy Ray and Erica Edwards are, the protagonist, I guess you would call it. That's the good guy, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not vocabulary smart.
No, you're more the numbers guy.
Exactly.
More the numbers guy. So, they have to navigate the ways through this prison and try to stay alive. But I think there was some legitimately good scares. I'd be remiss if I didn't say another show that we're involved with, Dead On Movie Reviews, Tracy DeLeon. She was also in the film, and she had a producing credit, producer credit to that. So Tracy is always a great friend to all of our endeavors. So we're happy that this hit Amazon Prime and people are getting to see it. So
awesome.
That's great for Tracy. But the scares are good. Like I said, it's really clean and good, decent looking. And I think you should definitely check it out if you have Amazon Prime. It's a shorter film, which I kind of appreciate for horror films. I think they're kind of good in a shorter length. So this one rings in at an hour and 13 minutes. So you definitely got that time to definitely check that out. So it has my recommendation. So Rich, you should probably get on that and watch it.
I'll definitely check it out. And I agree with you on the runtime. I think horror films 90 minutes or less. If you go beyond that, you didn't edit properly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be something pretty special to be a long film. Yes, yeah. I mean, if you're making more of almost like a drama horror, I think the time constraints can vary. But if you're looking for just a down-home horror film, I think sometimes the less is more.
Yeah. But do you mind if I share? Mind if I share something with you since we have a couple minutes? I received a present.
Sure. I don't know.
I received a present from another friend of ours, Tiffany Shepis. I don't know if you can see the little flag.
Oh,
nice. SAG is strong, and of course, anybody knows Tiffany and what their family went through at the school. This is the school stayed strong and rallied around everybody, and she was nice enough to send me one of their flags from what they're doing.
Oh, that's great. That's very cool.
It'll probably fall down halfway.
Very nice present.
Thanks. It will fall down. I haven't figured out how to keep it up properly yet.
Like with a tack, maybe?
I don't want to ruin the shelf.
Maybe the gummy stuff?
That's what I need to get, I think. So, yeah. And thank you for not making a joke about keeping it up. I do appreciate that.
Listen, I mean, I don't want to belittle you on the air.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I like it when we just do that in a hotel room at a convention.
Yikes. Now I'm going to have to edit that out.
I don't think you need to edit that out. 2 weeks ago, you needed to edit. This week, you do not need to edit this.
No. You saw Victor Crowley, though, right?
Oh, I love Victor Crowley. Remember, we had it at the Hollywood, and Adam Green came.
We did?
Yeah.
We can talk to Felissa about that.
Did I talk to her about it?
No, I said we can.
Yeah, I would love to.
No, I said we can.
Yeah. Now it's awkward.
For show.
Awkward
silence.
No, I think it would be great to talk to her. And Victor Crowley Hatchet, I've fallen in love with that series of films. It's filled a gap for me. I'm a Halloween, Friday the 13th kind of guy, and I love sequels and characters that I like recurring. And the only other movie to do that for me in the last however many years, Saw, and now Hatchet, have really given me that what I like.
No, I agree. I mean, they definitely fill the slasher void that's been left for quite some time. There hasn't been one, like you said, since Jigsaw. And I don't even know if I consider him a slasher.
I don't really consider him slasher, but it gave me an iconic character that I want to see over and over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I cannot wait to see Spiral. That was supposed to come out this October, but COVID said no to that. So I guess it's coming out next October or something of that sort, maybe. And I'm looking forward to that because Chris Rock has taken over, I guess, the franchise.
Oh, really?
And he will be in it, and Samuel L. Jackson is in it. And I guess Chris Rock plays a police officer, and Samuel L. Jackson is a ex-cop. And Chris Rock has ensured that there will be no jokes, and it's not going to be a comedic performance by either one of them. So it's going to be pretty straight, hard R, just like the Saws were. So
that's really cool that they're going to take the comedy out of it, but I don't think they'll be able to take the F-bombs out of it. And I'm calling it, copywriting it. We need a drinking game on which one's for each time one of them drops an F-bomb, and a bet on which one drops it more. Because I don't think they can avoid that.
I'm curious about Chris Rock being in a serious role, but I'm not about Samuel, because A Time to Kill, he was a very dramatic role, and he was very, very good in it. Oh, so yeah. I guess he went, where the money led him, which was, the motherfucker role, which I ain't mad at him. So it's, what was I saying? Samuel L. Jackson something.
About Chris Rock, you were curious about how he adapts.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, how he is in a serious role. I'm very curious about that. So curious to think what you guys think about Chris Rock in a serious role. in Spiral, a story from the Book of Saw, I believe, is the hook to it, or the tagline. We'd love to hear what you think about that. The Scary Room HR at gmail.com. As always, shoot us an email, and we always want to thank people that are sending us emails or comments on YouTube. There was a comment on YouTube we were talking about pre-show that we'll get to at the tail end of the show. We're getting to the bottom of the hour, so Felissa will be on here shortly.
Yeah,
but
I heard.
We'll talk about it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying we'll talk about a comment that may have changed the course of a segment. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Stay tuned. What were you going to say, Rich?
Oh, I heard Chris Rock interviewed recently. I think it was on Howard Stern. And it was very interesting. I'm listening to that interview. I have total faith. What you're hoping to see, or what you're curious to see about how he handles this role, listening to him, I think he's ready for it. I think it's going to be real good.
Nice. I'm excited for it. I really am, because I'm a big Saw fan. I like Saw. A lot of people call it torture porn, but I don't agree with that statement. I think if you watch all the films and see all the intricacies of the story and how things that were brought up in maybe the first or second film are relevant in the fifth or sixth film, and then the way they wrapped it up with Jigsaw 3D, or Saw 3D, and then they came back with Jigsaw, which was kind of a standalone in its own right, but it was really good. I thought it was quality. It kept up with the rest of them. So
I agree. And it is now time to admit our guest from the waiting room. So please bear with me for 1 second.
I will bear with you.
Well, you don't have much choice. It's that or log off.
I always do.
Oh, it says Lola.
Lola Miller, welcome to the show.
Well, it always says Lola. No. Hi.
How are you, Felissa?
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for taking the time. Yeah, it's been a long time for Mike.
Yeah, long time no see, Felissa. How are you?
I'm so happy. Okay, that is annoying. Thomas,
That's
the kids will take care of it. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was in a work meeting
right.
earlier today, and my German Shepherd, plowed through the door and tried getting on my lap while I was talking to a client. So
I know, it's constant. It's like, should I change my name though? Let me just figure out how to. I can't remember.
I can change it for you if you'd like.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Thank you. Because I honestly like the worst thing about quarantine is not being techie.
Would you like to be Felissa Rose? Felissa Rose.
Yeah, Felissa Rose is great. That's perfect. Thank you. Thomas?
Well, again, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
We were talking earlier. I think this helps fill a void for a lot of people right now. They can't go to conventions, and everybody misses everybody. And of course, you know how excited everybody is to always see you.
No, I think everyone just wants to connect and be together, and this is definitely the hardest time ever.
It is.
It's so, and we're going the other way now. Everything's closing in California.
It's slowly but surely Pennsylvania's doing the same thing. Yeah, it's scary.
So sad. So upsetting.
Your family's okay though?
Yeah, we're good. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well.
It's so good to see you. I know. It's been a really long time. This is exciting.
Yeah, and we wanted to talk a little bit about a few things. Of course, as always, talk about Sleepaway Camp and some of your movies, and then maybe get into some things you're working on now and things of that nature. So I'm not, Mike's asked a million questions of a million people, as you know.
I know.
I'm just some goof that tries to put on a show, so bear with me.
That's so great. Mike's like, I know this bitch inside out. No, I love it.
Oh, before we get started on some of this, though, I should have waited to show. I showed Mike a nice gift from our friend Tiffany. She sent me one of the flags from high school.
Oh my
you could appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm so happy that we'll be there together.
That's going to be awesome.
You know, she's my sister.
Yeah, that will be great.
Every time I think, it's been a long year.
Oh, yeah. Now, and I don't want to get onto a dark subject, but is that
okay.
your children's school district also?
No, even though she and I live like a mile and a half away from one another, we're at a school down the road from her school.
Well, that's good. Not that it doesn't impact you, and I'm sure your children were disturbed.
Oh my gosh, especially because, my big girl, we had our big girls together, Mia and Bianca. So when Bianca heard, that Mia was hurt, we're just all devastated.
Oh, of course.
It's been a long year.
Oh, yeah, and you throw this on top of it, and I mean, people were already here away, and
just too much. It's been but we'll come out of it stronger. We will come out of it stronger and better for it. I think you start to gain perspective and a better understanding of what's important and how really important your relationships are.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Most definitely.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the films, if you don't mind, and then we'll get into some other stuff. And then I'm hoping you'll stick around for our survey results this evening.
Of course.
Awesome.
Yes.
So I guess Mike helped me with a softball question to get started. So let's start with Sleepaway Camp. And how did you end up getting involved in that film?
So I was just a kid in New York, and I was at a local dancing school from the time I started really young, like 2 years old. My parents put me in singing and dancing school. I guess I was a ham even then. And when I was about 9, I was taking it pretty seriously. I had my first audition for a commercial, and then the first real film role, professional job, when I was 12, the first audition a local manager called me in for was Sleepaway Camp. So it was really the first time I had even understood what it meant to meet a director and kind of, think about a script, a character. And as soon as Robert Hiltzik, the original writer, director, and I met, we immediately hit it off, and he was so lovely. We did some improvisation, and I just felt a great connection with him. And I walked out and I said to my mom, I think I got that role. And she was like, oh, stop it. Your first audition, come on. But then fortunately it happened, and it was great. I turned 13 just in May, and then we started filming in September.
Oh.
See, they love that too.
That's right. So it seems for 1983, Felissa, the film really pushed the envelope on many topics, from some of the language that was used in reference to the children to the fact of killing kids being shown. What did you think about the reaction to some of that, as well as do you think the film could be remade today? Like a straight remake?
Oh my gosh. Those are great questions. I think we were way more innocent in the early 80s. The type of films I think we had seen at that time, even Texas Chainsaw Massacre and, Friday the 13th, all the classics, it was sort of like just fun, kind of popcorn fare. So Sleepaway Camp just kind of fell in that way, I believe, where it was just like, oh, another kids go to camp and bad things happen. But we did have the surprise ending. So I think it set itself apart because of how unique the ending really sort of shocked people. And as far as it being made today, I mean, I definitely think that the social commentary and some of the topics, the bullying aspect, would be fantastic to reboot, remake, in a different way, obviously, in a, more aware and conscious kind of a way. But I'd love to see a prequel, because the Aunt Martha, I think, is the real monster of the film. And it would be so cool to see her story and how she came about to have Ricky, the cousin, and she had Angela, and what really kind of transpired with the families prior to the events of going to camp. So I think that would be interesting today. I don't know that you could necessarily really remake Sleepaway Camp the way it had been shot in '82, but certainly it could be interesting in all of the social aspects and kind of touching on all the interesting kind of things that happened. Back then. So the computer died.
Uh-oh.
We lost Felissa. No,
I'm
that's
sure
what kind of
back.
happens with the Zoom culture.
That's
Yeah,
the world
she'll
we live in
probably
right now.
click.
Oh.
It is.
Just myself in the meantime.
What?
I'm
Why
here.
did you stand up? What are you doing?
I was pulling my
Why?
shirt down and getting my back adjusted.
Oh my. Yeah, that
So,
was interesting. I never really thought about a prequel to Sleepaway Camp. I thought that was
I
very
love that
interesting.
idea. I love it. Here we
Yeah.
go. We're coming back live with Felissa. Give it 30 seconds.
I'll give you nothing.
My laptop just kind of like died right there. So is this okay?
It's perfect.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it works.
We're back.
Yes. So
that's really how I feel about Sleepaway Camp. It has so many different, colors and levels and whatnot that it's a strange little film. We'll see what happens.
No, it's a cliche question, and I have to ask it. But did you ever think all these years later you would be talking to two guys about this film that you made?
No,
For real?
definitely not. And especially another amazing question, because it sort of came and went in my life. I was young. I was in 8th grade when I made it. It came out when I was in 9th grade. And it just kind of fell flat. I mean, it really didn't seem like it took on any kind of audience or resonated with people. So for so many years, it was just something I had done, but it wasn't, something tremendous and with an impact. And I hadn't really worked that much as an actress. I went to school, I went to college, and then with the internet, I saw that there were websites and we were invited to some conventions. So at the time, it just seemed like it was a movie that I made and it was fun. But now it certainly blows my mind, and I'm so super grateful for every part of the Sleepaway Camp life that's sort of in my world has just blown my mind and is incredible.
It's awesome. Would you mind talking about the filming location in New York a little bit? That's a lot of time outdoors and, times of days, and there's a lot of production challenges that you face in that type of location. What was your experience like? And especially you've taken on a production role in your career, so you probably relate even more now.
Yeah, I mean, it was, we were in upstate New York, so it was freezing, it was cold. I remember it being really cold, and we had a lot of night shoots. So it was, we would sleep during the day and then film at night. And it was just very interesting to me. Like I said, it was my first film. So I didn't know what to expect. I was very social at the time, very different from Angela, the character. I loved being at camp. It was like really being at Sleepaway Camp. And I loved kind of the whole aspect of hanging around these real teenagers. We were young. We spanned between, I was the youngest, I was 13, all the way up to 18, which for that kind of a film was pretty young, considering the Friday the 13th and the Burning and camp movies all sort of took on people in their 20s. So I think the challenge is that the trees were turning, the leaves were changing, the water had all the it was so cold that you could see the cold air, and those poor boys who had to jump in the lake with their bare butts. I mean, they went skinny dipping, and they were just definitely cold nights, but we had so much fun. I don't think we realized it. We were just like, a bunch of kids having fun.
Nice.
So we have a bunch more questions to ask you about Sleepaway Camp, but we're going to encourage people to come to HorrorRealm, to your amazing panel, and we'll continue to ask you questions there. But we do have a few other questions about some other films that you have been in. And one is Victor Crowley. So one
I
thing
love
that
Victor Crowley.
one thing that fascinates me about the film is you guys made it without anybody knowing that you made it.
Mhm.
And in today's age, it just astounds me that that was able to be done. How did you guys pull that off?
I mean, that's all Adam Green. He is, he's one of my favorite writer-directors. I was a huge fan prior to making Victor Crowley. I met him at a convention. I was just a huge fan, and a friend brought me over to his table, and I just kind of freaked out. And then he was so lovely and invited me to be on his scary sleepover. And I didn't realize at that point, when I was talking about Sleepaway Camp and talking about my New York manager and how she talked like this, that he in his head had been writing Hatchet 4. So he thought, oh my gosh, that's a funny character. And maybe Felissa could play that. So several months later, he said, hey, I have this secret movie that I'm doing. And I was like, dude, I'd like bring you coffee. I'll do anything. Little did I know, Hatchet, one of my favorite films and favorite franchises, was going to be in my life. I went to Ariscope, his studio, and he said, I'm doing a film. You have to sign an NDA. And I thought, wow, what's this? He's like, well, it's a big secret. He said, it's Hatchet 4. And I like literally fell to the ground. Like, what? And he said, I wrote a part for you based on how you talk like this, the New York manager. You're going to be the publicist. And I was like, oh my God. So that was it. And we all had to sign the NDAs. We were a small group. The cast, Tiffany Shepis and Dave Sheridan, Kane, Perry, Crystal, Laura, everyone involved just we all wanted it to be that big, beautiful secret. So we, we filmed, and then we waited a long time. And when it came out, we were just like, yay! So I love that movie. I'm really proud of the film. And it's just one of the greatest moments ever in my life. It was a dream. That was a dream for sure.
Yeah, it was quite an accomplishment that you guys were able to do that in this age, and the film just showed that. I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park. I thought it was one of the better installments of the sequels for sure.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. And all of us will be at HorrorRealm.
And I don't know if I told you yet. It was announced on last week's episode, which when you figure out our schedule, most people don't know this yet. That Danielle Harris is also committed to the show.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
So now,
I love Danielle.
Not intentionally, but now the first 4 guests of the show are all involved in the Hatchet series.
That's crazy. That's going to be so much fun and such a great reunion. And thank you for having us. We always have the best time at your show. Okay. So it's definitely going to be an incredible weekend.
It means a lot to us, and you help make it incredible. Tiffany helps make it incredible, and it's funny you brought up the NDA, because I remember at the time, well, it finally dawned on me what she was talking. I texted her during that, and I'm like, oh, how's everything going? She's like, can't really talk right now. Can't tell you what I'm up to. And I'm like, that's weird. And then shortly after, or however long it took, I finally put 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, is this why you wouldn't talk to me? She's like, yep.
That's so funny, because she and I spoke to one another, and we're best friends, and I'll never forget the day she's like, yeah, I got a script. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I got a script too. Like, but we weren't saying. She's like, is it something, I don't know, maybe no one should really know? And I was like, yeah, mine is. Is yours? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I think we're in the same movie. That's awesome. And so at that point, then, we did have a cast reading, and we were all there, and it was just marvelous. It was really exciting.
The movie theater that I helped reopen and used to run here in Pittsburgh, we actually, when Adam went on his tour with the movie, we were one of the spots that he brought it to.
Oh.
It was so cool, and he was awesome. It was my first and only time meeting him. He's amazing. And the crowd, it was like a weird, like a Tuesday or Wednesday night. It was a sellout crowd. We had to turn people away. 300 seat theater.
That's so incredible. Wow. And he is so gracious he takes his time in really explaining. I mean, he's so passionate and so loving about, his films and just everyone who comes to see it. It really was like one of the greatest experiences, not only like professionally, but personally, because I was working with people I love, like Tiff and Kane and Dave and Perry, and I've been working with them. I just did a movie, done a bunch with Dave, and Perry and I just did something, and Tiff and Kane and I do the podcast. So what's beautiful is the family aspect. And I think that's what we can always say about the horror community. It's such a loving, inviting, embracing group of people that's why we love conventions. It's because everyone gets to come together and really take care of each other and connect and love each other and party together. So we're missing it, but I can't wait to be at yours.
Oh, for sure.
Well, thank you. Well, we were the last show for a lot of people in March, and we might be the first show for a lot of people this coming March.
I know. That's so true. That's right. Yeah.
So, Felissa, you mentioned something that a lot of fans never get to see, and that's a table read. Talk about what the process of that is for people that don't get to see that.
So it's so funny. I just I'm on a film right now. We just had our table read a few days ago. So typically the producers and the director and the team involved gets the cast together, and they invite us somewhere. With Hatchet 4, it was Ari Scope. He put on a really spectacular table read where they have the whole cast sit around, and at Ari Scope it was dark, and they gave each of us a candle with our character name, and you'd have your script in front of you. So typically it's like a rehearsal. For the first time, we all sit, read the script together, get acquainted with the other actors involved who are playing whatever characters, are in the film, and we just read it out loud together. But with Hatchet 4, we sat, and when your character died, you had to blow out your candle. I still have my candle. It was so cool. It was dark, and it really sets the mood, and you sit, and like I was sitting next to Tiffany and Crystal, and you just, it's so exciting. You have a lot of laughs, you have a lot of, camaraderie, and it was just wonderful. We had Brian Quinn, who's Q from Impractical Jokers. He was on one computer, and Dave Sheridan, who was at the time living in Atlanta, on another, and they felt like they were right next to us, and they were reading. And table reads are really fun because you generally get to really become that family. That's where it begins. And I'm on a film right now called Sorority of the Damned, and it's a great film that's written and directed and starring Joe Davison from Stranger Things, and my friend Roy Kinrum, who's the co-director, and we sat around with the whole cast, and I play maybe like a mean witch. And it's so fun. She's great. Awesome. I love my character. She's crazy. And the table read was really fun. I love table reads because I love meeting the cast.
Right. You just segued into a discussion of our show. Mike has a segment on here from time to time that he is trying to find what he considers the perfect witch movie. So you may have just entered into the battle.
Woo! I love witches. I love witch movies. I love all that, exciting kind of character work that goes into that type of, portrayal. I'm excited. That's great, Mike. I want to hear about that.
So one last one we want to talk about that just I saw on Amazon Prime landed in October is A Nun's Curse, where you got to play another villain. Talk about being a villain yet again.
That movie was another experience that just blew my mind because I am crazy about the writer-director Tommy Faircloth. He's one of my most favorite people. Another director I met at a convention. He and I were sitting next to each other about 6-7 years ago, and we just hit it off. He's just one of the sweetest, smartest, most loving people. And we've done Family Possessions together. He said that he wrote a script called A Nun's Curse, and would I enjoy playing a crazy nun? And I thought, oh my gosh, yes. I also love prosthetics. I love any kind of makeup work. And especially now being an older woman, you know, in my 50s, I really appreciate playing that all kinds of characters. You know, it's obviously you get older, you're not going to play the ingenue, the young leading lady. So all of these amazing roles like Kathleen and Victor Crowley, or a nun, or a witch, or what have you, is just really exciting because you can sink your teeth into something that's really meaty. It's not just like, oh, you're the cute girl walking down the street. You're like a really kind of layered, like I said, a lot of texture. So Tommy wrote this fantastic script, and he told me Damien Maffei, who's an old friend of mine from New York 20 years ago, was starring in it. And I thought, what a great fun collaboration. And we filmed it a couple of years ago, and now it's out. And I love Tommy's work. His cinematography, and he does everything himself. And the makeup for the nun was done by Sean Krumpholtz and Tony Rosen, who had created the Annabelle doll. And I loved working with them and getting all in that crazy makeup and the sclera lenses where I'm blind and I like ready to, kill everybody. Super fun. I sound like a lunatic, but it's awesome. So fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was a great movie. So definitely congrats on that hitting Amazon Prime. But yeah, again, we have a ton more questions, but we're going to encourage everybody to come to Horror Realm to meet you and come to your panel so we can ask these questions and you can give us the answers. But Rich, you have the poll question, our survey question, if you want to run that down real quick.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do this week, and we do this every week, and thank you for sticking around for this, because as you being our guest, we decided this was the perfect week to ask everybody what they think the best horror film twist was, or horror film with a unexpected twist. And I think we could all say that you had an unexpected twist in Sleepaway Camp. So
yeah, I think so.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read down the results. Some of them only got 1 or 2 or no responses. So why don't I just quickly go down those, and then I will get to the top 3 and let the two of you weigh in on what you think of these being the top 3. And I'll just kind of be quiet at that point so that we don't talk over each other. So real quickly, here's the ones that didn't make the top 3. We had 2 write-ins, The Mist and Secret Window.
I love The Mist.
Yes.
And which one? Sorry.
The Mist is the best.
The
ending
Mist
ever.
is the best. So heartbreaking, so incredible.
Yeah.
Love The Mist. Love that movie. Love
Totally
Marcia Gay
agree.
Harden. I fell madly in love with Marcia Gay Harden.
Me too.
Madly in love. How great is she? Sorry. I'm in love with that movie.
Now, surprisingly, April Fool's Day got no votes. I still think that was a cool twist.
What about Orphan? Is that
Orphan? That's the next one. We had three that got 1 vote. Orphan, The Sixth Sense.
I was going to say Sixth Sense.
And The Wicker Man. They all got 1 vote.
Oh.
So I thought Orphan was one of the best recent movies with a twist.
I love Orphan, and I love Sixth Sense. I was going to say that one too.
Yeah. So then we get to a couple that are all kind of in the middle. We have Psycho. We have High Tension. And
High Tension.
And can't read very well, so I apologize. No, just a couple. Those are the 2, and then we're going to get into the top 3. Any thoughts on High Tension or Psycho?
High Tension's an amazing film.
It's amazing. My kids just watched it recently, which is scary because that's a really hardcore. That's like, whoa. I love High Tension. I think it's one of their greatest films right now. Yeah. Contemporary. And Psycho, I mean, it's, gosh.
And I actually boo-booed. We're going to do the top 2. So I apologize. I'm new. I told you at the beginning of this. Mike's the professional. I'm just here. Coming in at number 2 was Saw for Best Twist.
Great movie.
Oh,
I love
Saw. The Twisted Saw was really good. The first one. Yeah, no, I agree. That's one that I would definitely put up there in the top 2. I agree with that.
Maybe that's another franchise we'll see you in someday, Felissa.
I'm obsessed with the Saw franchise. I love it.
And our number one, this should come as no surprise to anybody, and these results have not been manipulated for your appearance tonight. 33% of the vote went to Sleepaway Camp.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
So, and of course we put this out to the Horror Realm Facebook page and everything. So I hope it shows you how much I think everybody in Pittsburgh loves you.
I love Pittsburgh. I love all of you. I'm so thrilled to be there. If I don't die. The water going down the wrong pipe.
Well, Felissa, we really appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us.
I love you both. Thank you.
And we'll definitely look forward to seeing you at Horror Realm. You guys stay safe, please, out there. And all our love and best wishes to you.
You too. I love you. Thank you.
Felissa. I will keep in touch with you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Well, that was awesome, and sorry for the slow. I'm not good at. This is not a professional production, though. Felissa added quite, I think, upgrade to the production tonight.
She did. She very much did. But yeah, she's always great to talk to. And again, we have a ton more questions for her on all those films and more that you'll definitely want to come out to see Horror Realm, her panel, or even ask some questions yourself at her table or the panel. So always good to see Felissa. It's been a while since I've talked to her, so that was nice.
Yeah, I started thinking about that just because of COVID, and you'd been taking a little break from. You haven't moderated a ton in the last year and a half, so no. I mean, you used to see her like every other month.
Yeah, there was a stretch there where I would see her at least 4 times a year for 3 years. So yeah, she's a good person.
She's awesome.
So that was fun. It was cool. She stuck around for the survey. So, but yeah, everybody come out to. It's all right. It's learning. It's learning. It's all good. That was good though. That was fun. So, again, come to see her at Horror Realm and bring some Hatchet merch because there's going to be a bunch of people from Hatchet, the films, various films. So you're going to want to get up on that train. So one thing that we mentioned earlier is we appreciate all the comments and on YouTube and the emails and everything. And one thing that I wanted to mention is the difference between a sweet potato and a regular potato is this is scientifically proven. I looked it up. The sweet potato is gross and the regular potato is good. So that is science. But I do have a segment that I've been working on that I'm looking for the perfect witch movie. So we've had people email us some witch movies that I want to check out, and someone posted on the YouTube post a movie that I forgot the main character is a witch, but The Autopsy of Jane Doe. And that was actually my favorite film of 2019. I think it's a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, watch it. So that is my perfect witch movie. Now, it's not your typical witch with like the long nose and the hat. So that maybe that's why I had a stroke and forgot about the film.
So does that mean the segment's now dead, or is it now the starting point for trying to find something even better or comparable?
I don't know if something better is going to be found because it's quite an original film. I mean, there's nothing out there like it. So I don't know. Do I go for like the typical witch with the big hat and the nose? Like, do I go that route?
I don't know. I think. I mean, this would be my opinion. You know, in a way, this was a happy find or reminder because it gives you the parameters now for evaluating all the others, and it doesn't have to match up exactly, but it has to give you the same results on how you feel about the movie. And it could be the big-nosed witch movie provides that, or it could be another witch similar to that. I don't know. I think it kind of what do they call that when you get that neutral the mean. It's the mean.
Yes,
Yeah.
in mathematical
Yes.
terms.
Yeah. Because I don't want to see that. I mean, we don't have that much to talk about, so we can't kill the segment.
No, I don't want to kill the segment, so I might have to morph the segment. But again, thank you for reminding me of The Autopsy of Jane Doe, because yeah, it's a great film. But we'll morph that segment. But again, with that, we want to thank everybody for joining us this evening in podcast form. Rich, thank you for bringing your A game. I appreciate that. That's always good.
I'm just gonna.
And we definitely want to thank Felissa Rose for being on. She will be at Horror Realm. Go to horrorrealmcon.com or the Horror Realm Facebook page for all the information there and all the guests that have been announced thus far. Also go to otherworldlyculture.com and check out some of our content over there. Yeah, that's about it. So again, thank you for checking out just this fun thing that we do while we're all quarantined and such. This is Horror Realm Radio, the show that won't stay dead.